Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. I am talking to you guys at 12:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time because I worked late. I came home. I had to watch the press conference. I got hooked for the WrestleMania press conference, and it was interesting. The Rock on Pat McAfee's show really was like a precursor to what we were going to see. And this was when we saw the first little bit of The Rock truly back. Calls his fans, calls Cody's fans Cody crybabies. Says, does this little impression like, hey, Dad, do you want to play catch? No, not now. I want to see Cody finish his story. Hey, honey, do you want to have sex? No, not now. I want to see Cody finish his story. And then he says, know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is going to take you on. And this was all on like a morning talk show. As much as I do want Cody to finish his story, I love this. I love this little glimpse of what made The Rock great in the first place. And it got me even more hooked for this press conference. The press conference was what it was. Cole brings us to Vegas. Hunter coming out. Cody coming out. Heyman and or not coming out, but I guess entering the T-Mobile Arena. Heyman and Roman coming in on a private jet, not together. The Rock coming in on a private jet in the arena. We have Pat Mac, we have Big E, we have CM Punk, some former champions here on this panel here. Michael Cole, of course. And then the show is kind of dragging a little bit. We get the Heyman promo. We get this announcement of WWE Speed, which I think it was this thing that I saw on Twitter a few weeks ago where people were saying, like, in between commercial breaks at the WWE live show, there's these matches that are like 4 minutes long, 5 minutes long. I enjoyed that. I mean, we've seen Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan defend his television championship for 15 minutes, and that kind of adds to the story. I remember in 2019, NWA Power had a great little thing they were doing with the light heavyweight championship, where I think it was like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So that kind of gave reasoning to why the matches were so fast paced. So they put this on Twitter. I think it's great. Then Cole introduces Triple H. He doesn't really say much. Cole and Pat McAfee on the stage now introduce Bianca Belair. She comes out. She cuts a promo. She doesn't really say much. She doesn't really announce much. Rhea Ripley, she brings up the Elimination Chamber, brings up Nia Jackson. Then Becky Lynch cuts her off, hyping up the match. We could see this from a mile away. Ever since they did the brand split, you saw Rhea, you saw Becky, and you saw a bunch of nothing on the Raw roster. You knew that this was Rhea versus Becky at WrestleMania. I saw it. I think I've been talking about it weekly on this show. And here we go. We get the pull apart. And then the main event. Rollins comes out. He brings out Cody, wants to bring out Cody, starts introducing Cody, but then Roman comes out. Roman says, or Rollins says, you finally showed to work. And Roman just buries him. And you showed up to work in your wife's shoes. Roman says that he's going to choose who he faces, and he chooses The Rock. The Rock's music hits. Mix of boos and cheers here. Lots of chants trying to start. One that gets through them all is the "We Want Cody" chant, which is kind of interesting. Then we have a dueling "We Want Cody, No We Don't" introduces the press to the Cody crybabies, as it were. The Rock calling these "We Want Cody" movement the Cody crybabies. The Rock shows something kind of cool here, the family tree. I thought this was cool, and the crowd, they're whatting The Rock, but I honestly thought The Rock was doing a good job cutting a promo, and I thought the graphic was really cool. I wasn't like too big of a fan of how the crowd was acting here in the T-Mobile Arena, kind of trying to bury The Rock. Of course, I want Cody, but I'm not trying to sabotage the show especially when The Rock is, speaking about his family lineage. I don't know. Maybe I'm a mark here, but I thought that was kind of, I thought it was in poor taste. Says that there's only one royal family in wrestling. I mean, obviously, playing into what Cody says in his entrance music off the top is wrestling has more than one royal family before downstate kicks in. I thought that was a nice little touch there. And then says that this could be the biggest main event in wrestling history, bound by blood. And they're about to shake hands. And then Cody comes out, says, "Hold on, this is bullshit. He won the Royal Rumble." You gotta agree there. You love whoever wins the Royal Rumble gets a world title match at WrestleMania. That's how I see it. Cody says at WrestleMania 40 in the main event, "I choose you, Roman." This crowd is all over the place. Starts shitting on the family a little bit here. Cody starts saying you're gonna Roman's bringing the family to shame, and that's when The Rock comes in and just bitch slaps Cody Rhodes right in the face. There's a line in the scene here. You got Roman and The Rock, the bloodline, and then Cody and Rollins comes to defend Cody a little bit. Says you can't do whatever you want. And this was pretty interesting here. I think they're teasing a tag match, maybe a tag match at Elimination Chamber. I don't know. I guess Cody versus Roman will happen, but I don't know. It just seems a little fishy. And then in the back with Triple H, he's kind of discussing what he just saw. Rock and Roman walk by and say, "Let them talk shit about my family again, and fix it or we will." And then he also, he says something they bleep out. I think he said something about he was going to knock his fucking teeth out of his mouth or something like that. This is The Rock saying fucking, saying shit, saying all these swear words. Attitude Era, not PG era, in the Paul Levesque era. This was great. This little bit here was great. You didn't need much. It didn't need to be an hour. I don't think you needed anything but these four guys. It was cool to see Rhea and Becky pull apart. Bianca, I mean, I like her, but, she didn't really say much here. The panel, I like everyone on the panel, but it could have just been a 30-minute show or a 15-minute little thing. They stretched out to an hour. That's what they do. But, I mean, I guess we're getting Cody versus Roman, but are we going to get, Rock Roman versus Cody Seth at Elimination Chamber? Are we going to get Rock Roman night 1 and Cody Roman night 2? I mean, where does Rollins play in on all this? Are we going to get Rock? Are we going to get Rock Rollins? What's going to happen here? I'm not sure. There's so many unanswered questions, but for right now, it looks like Cody versus Roman is the official main event of WrestleMania. Of course, The Rock coming back to WWE is huge, but Scott D'Amore leaving TNA is huge as well. I mean, this is big news for TNA. The guy who had the pen, the guy who had the pencil through kind of very down period in TNA to building it to where we're calling it TNA again. This is someone who's been a part of Impact Wrestling and TNA off and on for 20 years. Seems like the guy behind the recent brand shift, and it seems like the guy that kind of, helped draw eyeballs in 2024. People are now, telling me to tune into Impact, telling me to tune into TNA. TNA's got a great presentation going on into 2024, and they also have a partnership with WWE, allowing Jordynne Grace to wrestle in the Royal Rumble. What is going on here? But I don't think this leaves a lot of questions with. I do think this leaves a lot of questions with the booking at TNA, which is something that in the recent past has been praised. So I don't know what is going on here with Scott D'Amore, but he is gone from TNA. Now let's get into it. We already talked about it over the weekend. WWE NXT, Carmelo Hayes turned his back on Trick Williams. Carmelo explains why. He says, you went behind my back and went after something that belongs to me, which is the NXT title. Trick's music hits, people go nuts, but Carmelo is fucking with everybody. He just plays the music and can't believe it. He says this was never a collaboration. You were just a hype man. That hurt. That hurt me hearing Carmelo say that about Trick. This doesn't really explain why he, pushed him out of the way to get speared in the tag match, or why he didn't attack him during the match instead of at the end of the match. But those are little minor plot holes. Trick is, it's great to see Trick Williams so over, and I think Carmelo Hayes is doing a great job so far switching heel in this whole deal. So I'm going to let it ride, but there is a little plot holes. It's a bumpy ride that we're on with Carmelo and Trick so far in this story. Ilya Dragunov and Dijak in the main event. Strike battle leaves Ilya bleeding. It seems like Dragunov bleeds a lot here. Sit down, choke slam from Dijak. 1-2. No, Dragunov fires back, but gets caught with a lariat springboard elbow. But he hurt the elbow that was damaged at Vengeance Day in the process. Gacy pops under the ring, and hits Dijak with a plunger, connects, then Dragunov connects with an H-bomb. 1-2-3, Dragunov wins. Continuing the feud with Gacy here. This is not where I wanted to go, but they did say Dijak's contract may be up soon, so maybe they're just going to have Gacy beat him a few times and send Dijak home, because, he was in NXT. They brought him up to the main roster to do that. I forget what it was called. They brought him up in this faction during the Thunderdome era. It didn't work out. So they kind of squashed it. They sent him back to NXT. So what more can you do with Dijak other than have him lose to Gacy a few times before you send him home? When Dragunov is celebrating, he gets attacked by Carmelo Hayes. This is wild. So Carmelo attacking Dragunov, attacking Trick Williams. We'll see what happens with that. We also had a video package here, a bit of a mystery. Man has three faces. The world sees the one his family sees, and one, the real one that no one sees, but evil reflects. Or something like that. I don't know. People are saying it's Okada. People are saying it's Julia. I want it to be a fresh coat of paint on maybe like a homegrown talent. Maybe, someone we've never seen before. I don't want it to be Okada. This gimmick kind of seems kind of lame. And I don't know. People are saying it might be Julia, but it's like man has three faces. Julia should be talking shit about women. Not just man. That might be, oversimplifying it, but I don't think it's those two people that people are hinting at because of those little slight reasons or reasoning. Maybe it's just the desires. I don't want it to be Okada. Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. Of course, Vice tried to cash in, did cash in, making it a triple threat match at Vengeance Day. So Roxanne pissed at Lola Vice. Paxley, her crazy ass, jumps on the apron, gets her head kicked off by Vice, but that was enough of a distraction for the Pop Rocks 1, 2, 3. I think this title is going to be put on Roxy, but you got to put, Lola Vice in Roxy's way. You're going to put Tatum Paxley in Roxy's way. You got to have a big build-up for her to win this title again. More ladies action. You had Fallon Henley versus Ren Sinclair. Or Fallon Henley and Ren Sinclair versus Lash Legend and Jakarta Jackson. Lash gets the victory for Metaphor. Braun Breaker and Corbin celebrating their championship. The Wolf Dogs, as Braun Breaker wants to call them, and I want to call them. And they're on the hunt. We get Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Edris Info and Malik Blade, two teams that were impressive during the Dusty Cup despite not making it to the finals. Frazier dives, knees up. Axiom dives, knees up. 1-2. Frazier off the top to break a pin attempt here. He hits a Wild Phoenix splash at one point. Golden ratio 1-2-3. Axiom and Frazier get the win. Riley Osborne versus Lexis King here. I didn't like how they went right to the match here. I feel like we could have gotten a vignette. We could have got Riley Osborne and that lady on a date, and Lexis King fucks it up. We still could get that, but, I feel like having Lexis King make short work of Osborne really didn't help the feud here. I think this thing had legs. You could have brought it on a few more weeks. But that was NXT. Jumping over to Dynamite. Giving you my overall thoughts before ranking every single match from worst to first, because this Dynamite was really good. The best one in 2024, I'll say that. Cassidy is going to wrestle Ishii. Trent was surprised at hearing that. I was surprised at hearing that. I'm excited, and they kind of played into that. Undisputed Kingdom, though, attacking Chuck Taylor in the back. I'm tired of this shit. You formed a faction, Undisputed Kingdom, through like 6 months of TV. Who's the devil? Who's the devil? Who's the devil? Oh, it's Adam Cole. And then you have the Bullet Club Gold, who got attacked by the Devil Group, and the Acclaim, who got attacked by the Devil Group, joining forces. But it seems like you forgot why they were joining forces. Okay, so the Bang Bang Scissor Gang joining forces to go up against the Undisputed Kingdom, but for some reason the Undisputed Kingdom is fighting Best Friends for no fucking reason. I guess Roderick Strong wants a title shot or something like that. It doesn't need to be like this. And then the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, they're just having a great time off to the side. It seems like everyone forgot what the fuck was going on here. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang need to fight the Undisputed Kingdom, or I'm getting pissed at this. Why did we wait 6 months to see who the devil was, and then the guy that they screwed over innately, MJF, is gone from television, and then the group of guys that they screwed over in the process of getting to MJF, they don't really give a shit about, and to what makes it worse is those guys formed a faction together, Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and they don't seem to give a fuck about the Undisputed Kingdom anymore. And it's like the Undisputed Kingdom screwed over MJF to have Samoa Joe have the title. Like, why does Samoa Joe have the title? Why did they work so hard to screw over MJF to not gain anything for themselves? It's kind of, I don't know, man. It really took me out of AEW, like this whole thing. But it seems like they're getting back on track here. I really like the main event picture right now. And we'll get into ranking all 5 matches from worst to first. Number 5, Toni Storm versus Red Velvet. Toni with Mariah May and Luther out there. Deonna Purrazzo out at ringside on commentary. Running hip attack, DDT, 1-2, Red Velvet kicks out. Roll up, 1-2, Timeless kicks out. Ankle lock from Toni. Looking at Deonna. Velvet taps out. Toni and Deonna have like a stare down. And this was, I don't know, this might have been my favorite stare down ever. Luther breaks it up. Number 4 out of 5, CMLL versus Blackpool Combat Club. Hechicero continuously tying up Danielson in knots just like he did last week, and then rolls around with him. This kind of submission here reminded me of Danielson versus Tyson Kidd on that old show Saturday Morning Slam from like 10 years ago. Moxley dives on Volador Jr. and CMLL attack Moxley on the outside after the dive. It gets crazy. Good lucha things, as Kalisto would say. 450, 1-2, Blackpool break it up. Low blow from Claudio, 1-2-3. So this is kind of weird. You have this CMLL invading faction here, which, I enjoy this invading faction here, but usually the invaders are like the bad guys because you're defending AEW here. But then you had Claudio win with a low blow. I don't know, man. It just seems kind of odd. We have more CMLL talent introduced. Star Jr., 13-year career vet, mostly wrestled in CMLL, and hopefully I'm saying this right, Esfringe. Very similar background, like about a 13, 14-year vet, mostly wrestled in CMLL. They're going to be wrestling on Collision. We'll see where this goes. But yeah, I know I'm nitpicky here, but Claudio defending AEW wins with a low blow, and Taz saying that, kind of hinting at CMLL being like the heels the whole time. Didn't really do too many heel tactics. for me, I like these CMLL guys. They're going toe-to-toe with these legends, these WWE guys like Mox and Danielson and Claudio. And, I mean, Hechicero's been holding his own against Danielson. So, I mean, I don't give a fuck what Taz says. I'm a fan of these CMLL guys. They can come and invade AEW anytime they want. Number 3 out of 5, Sting and Darby versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill. The main event, brawling through the crowd. Sting diving off the tunnel, as he's known to do nowadays. Darby goes for a dive, but gets caught in a huge Bossman slam to the floor by the big man, Big Bill, and then just slamming and throwing Darby around. Darby puts a Big Bill through a table. Scorpion Deathlock. Starks breaks free, exposes the turnbuckle. Sting crashes into it, but then no-sells it. Spear, 1, 2. Sting kicks out. Scorpion Death Drop, 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions, Sting and Darby. But then the Young Bucks jump them from behind, jump the new champions. And this was a great visual. They're wearing all white, looking like Miami Vice suits here, wearing all white, complete with the white baseball bat. They're attacking the new champs, covering themselves in the new champs' blood on these white suits. This looked wild, like Clockwork Orange meets GCW as AEW goes off the air. I love this shit here. This is great. And Sting and Darby are new champions. You gotta love Sting holding some gold in 2024. But number 2, the second best match on the show, Takeshita versus Jericho. Hobbs and Callis at ringside. Callis slaps the shit out of Takeshita for whatever reason. Neck breaker on the outside, senton on the inside, all Takeshita the early going. Sammy Guevara comes out, tries to take out Hobbs with a chair, but it was his speed and agility that allowed him to hit a cutter and then work the chair even more to get Hobbs out of the ring. Jericho diving with a devil mask for whatever reason. You could tell he was hyped up. Takeshita goes for a senton again. Jericho gets his knees up. Lion Salt. Takeshita gets his knees up. Blue Thunder Bomb. We know the rule in AEW. That's a 2 count. Blue Thunder Bomb off the top. We know the rule in AEW. That's still a 2 count. Callis throws a chair to distract the ref and then gets a fucking a screwdriver, stabs Jericho in the skull with it, and that's a fucking 2 count. I cannot believe this shit until Takeshita brings him to the center of the ring and taps him out with his own move. Jericho loses to Takeshita yet again. So Jericho lost to Takeshita in DDT late last year, and now Takeshita beats Jericho in American soil. Jericho's got to wrestle him in Canada or something. I don't know what's going to happen here. But the best match on the show by far, the best match of the month of February 2024 so far, Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. The biggest match and the best feud in AEW right now, kicking off AEW. Both these guys look cool. Swerve has his dreads. Hangman has his mustache. Swerve has that dance people do. Hangman drinks the whiskey. I love this shit. Action goes outside in the crowd and back in the ring. Hangman in control, fall away slam to the floor. Swerve firing back with some chops as the crowd woos along. Hangman hits a lariat, 1, 2. Swerve gets to the ropes. Hangman goes for a moonsault to the floor, no one home. Flatline from Swerve. Swerve hits a Fosbury flop to the outside. Momentum has shifted over to Swerve at one point, and then Hangman biting Swerve as they're battling on the top turnbuckle. Sit down powerbomb, 1, 2, no. Swerve kicks out. Hangman going for the buckshot lariat and getting booed here. Swerve ducks and crowd erupts. Swerve stomp, 1, 2, no. The fight goes onto the guardrail, not in the crowd, not on the outside, but literally standing on the guardrail. I like this spot here. DDT from Hangman, it was kind of sloppy, but these two men were fighting on a guardrail. It was, a little bit of a flub here from Hangman. Hangman falls on a table. The table just kind of collapses, doesn't break. No offensive maneuver was done on the table. So, that's when they find another table. They set it up. you can really tell that the crowd is behind Hangman here, or behind Swerve, and not so much Hangman. Back in the ring, 450, knees up, 1-2, Swerve kicks out. 5-minute warning here. Hangman hits the buckshot, 1-2, Swerve with his foot on the rope yet again, breaks the count. Deadeye on the apron, Swerve on the floor. Hangman going for a 10-count victory here, so leaning into the crowd booing here, and Nana doesn't know what to do, so he starts dancing. The crowd gets fired up. Swerve knows to listen to the crowd that's behind him. He gets in the ring, and it's like this dance was like Swerve smelling salts or something like that. Hangman goes full heel here during this crowd, attacking Nana with a chair, but that distracts him. Swerve hits the Swerve stomp, but it's too much pain to go for the pin. Really feeling the pain in the ankle. Page takes advantage of it. Swerve hits the Deadeye through a table, so hits Hangman with his own damn move. Swerve stomp, no one home. Ankle in trouble here. Cowboy shit from the crowd, so the crowd seems to, just love every moment of this, even though they did seem to be cheering for Swerve. A little contingency was cheering for Hangman. Buckshot countered into an AML driver. 1-2, no. The bell sounds. We ran out of time. Time limit draw. Swerve gets the mic. He says, we know what's going to happen. I want 5 more minutes. And Hangman Page says, fuck you. I'm not giving you shit. No, he doesn't say that. That would be The Rock at the WrestleMania press conference. I'm paraphrasing here. He leaves. He says, you didn't beat me. And I guess I don't blame him here, man. He's not going to give this guy 5 more minutes. This guy committed a home invasion. Are we forgetting about the home invasion? Of course we are. Swerve is way too cool. We're going to let that slide. We're going to let the home invasion slide because Swerve has got the cool dance and everything. But then Tony Schiavone gets on the mic and says it will be a 3-way at Revolution for the World Championship. Joe versus Hangman versus Swerve. We go to the back to hear Joe's thoughts. Joe doesn't seem that happy because, obviously he can lose his title in this scenario without being involved in the pin. But, what can we do? Joe's sniffling and snarling. He's upset, but no one else is this upset. I think January 6th, I called this 3-way. There's only one man that was in the truck with me, and that's Kenny, my buddy Kenny. I think I said that this 3-way was going to happen. So, Revolution. We have Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks. We got Joe versus Hangman versus Swerve. We have Tony Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. Hopefully we get Bang Bang Gang versus Undisputed Kingdom, or else that feud is just meaningless. 6 months of AEW programming with Who's the Devil and why is he attacking everybody is meaningless. But I digress. I love pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling press conferences. I love NXT. I love Scott D'Amore. What's going on with him? And I love AEW. Fly high. I'm out.